Windsor's honey-coloured calm has shattered into 1,000 anxious fragments, and the royal courtyards that usually hum with orderly ritual are now throbbing with something far more volatile, doubt. One moment, Britain was basking in a heart-stirring video that showed the monarchy's A-team, King Charles III, Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, saluting the armed forces with steely smiles and vintage footage of fighter jet sorties, trench visits and parade ground camaraderie. The next, panicked whispers ricocheted through Buckingham Palace as aides learned that Catherine had quietly torn up plans to attend Royal Ascot 2025, the crown jewel of next summer's social calendar. The clip that lulled the nation. Released at dawn on the 28th of June, the 3-minute montage looked tailor-made to soothe a restless public. There was Charles in desert uniform, shaking the hand of a beaming young private, William crouched in an Apache cockpit, helmet under one arm, Catherine laughing with cadets on Salisbury Plain, her glossy blow-dry tucked into a khaki cap. A rousing soundtrack swelled as the future king intoned, "To every man and woman in uniform, we honor your courage, your dedication, your sacrifice." Millions double-tapped. Instagram glowed. Pundits hailed a perfect pivot from recent royal health woes. The email that detonated behind the scenes. Yet barely an hour after the post went live, an internal note pinged across palace inboxes. Her Royal Highness the Princess of Wales, regretful withdrawal from Royal Ascot 2025 carriage procession and royal box engagements. Reason: medical advice for schedule realignment. Do not brief externally. Within minutes, phones blared. One private secretary, famed for ice-cool efficiency, reportedly muttered, "Oh God, here we go," before dialing Catherine's medical team. Another senior aide confessed to a journalist friend, "We smelled hospital disinfectant in the air." Everyone feared an emergency admission. What Catherine's doctors actually said. Sources now insist the alarm was overblown. Catherine, undergoing a painstaking course of preventative chemotherapy after her post-surgery cancer diagnosis, is not in crisis, a family friend stresses. Blood counts fluctuate, energy levels spike and plummet. Her specialists apparently suggested that the intensity of Ascot, a 5-day marathon of carriages, balcony waves, and late-night receptions, could jeopardize her recovery window next summer. Better, they advised, to conserve strength for trooping 2025, foreign tours and a likely Commonwealth summit. But to jittery palace staffers, any cancellation reverberates like a klaxon. Is the princess slipping backwards? Why Ascot matters so much? To the outside world, Royal Ascot is a champagne-soaked jaunt in fancy hats. Inside the firm, it is something closer to a constitutional obligation in millinery. The late Queen attended 70 times. Charles, despite chemo fatigue, still insists he will lead the carriage procession in 2024 and, health permitting, 2025. For Catherine to pull out 11 months early feels, to courtiers, like ripping a lace thread from the royal tapestry. It's a messaging nightmare, a veteran equerry groans. If she can't bank on being well for Ascot, which other events are we quietly erasing from the grid? William's deep dive health huddle. That phrase, quietly erasing, is exactly what sparked Friday night's emergency summit at Kensington Palace. William, fiercely protective since his mother's relentless press ordeal, summoned Catherine's lead oncologist, 2 senior communications chiefs, and Sir Clive Alderton, the King's ultra-discreet private secretary, to blueprint a new strategy: fewer set-piece appearances, more impact-light engagements. Translation: the princess will keep working, but behind closed doors. Expect Zoom briefings with her early childhood task force, phone calls to cancer charities, maybe a single soft focus photo in a garden rather than a 150-yard walkabout lined with telephoto lenses. The Harry-sized vacuum. Complicating everything is the yawning absence of William's once inseparable brother. In a calmer universe, Prince Harry would be the spare tire ready to roll when the heir's wife needs rest. Instead, the Duke of Sussex is 5,000 miles away in Montecito, dropping podcast bombs and suing the Home Office for police protection. He was meant to be William's wingman, former BBC stalwart Jenny Bond size. Now that role is vacant, and the monarchy feels the draft. According to insiders, William has let go of the fantasy that Harry could ever slot back into senior duties, but the logistical headache remains. Who covers Royal Hospital wing openings? Who visits flood zones? Who charms Commonwealth youth forums? Enter Zara, the surprise understudy. The answer, intriguingly, is emerging in the form of Zara Tindall. Charles's straight-talking niece has no Her Royal Highness, no taxpayer stipend, but mountains of goodwill and a squeaky clean track record. William, palace sources reveal, has quietly asked Zara and her husband Mike to step up as ambassador-at-large figures for regional visits, sports initiatives and military patronages. Zara isn't chasing tiaras, one aide grins, but put her in a Barber jacket at a regimental family day and the troops adore her. Expect to see more of the Olympic equestrian cutting ribbons where a Sussex brother once might have stood. King Charles, pride laced with pain. Caught between love for both sons and the cold arithmetic of succession, Charles responded to the Ascot drama with what insiders describe as stoic sorrow. He privately told William he remains immensely proud of Catherine's bravery and respects the decision to prioritize health, but cannot help hoping for brotherly thaw. "I will always believe in the bond of brothers," the monarch is said to have murmured. Yet pragmatism rules. Courtiers reveal there are no contingency plans involving Harry for forthcoming Jubilee-grade affairs. The door, diplomatically, is ajar, but the agenda marches on without him. Catherine's next public hurdles. So where does this leave the princess who captains a billion-pound global soft power brand? Doctors will review her chemo cycle in late summer. Best-case scenario, a low-key October engagement, perhaps an indoor conference on early years research, cameras barred from capturing any residual chemo pallor. A cautious winter re-entry may follow, a diplomacy-heavy diplomatic corps reception with dim lighting and controlled press angles. The big test remains Christmas Day at Sandringham. If Catherine's oncologist nods, she'll stride to church in crimson wool, sending a global headline, "I'm back." If not, aides will issue a short, solemn statement and the world will understand. The optics and the stakes. Every monarchy survives on symbolism, and Catherine's health now symbolizes far more than one woman's battle against cancer. To millions, she embodies a stable future, a relatable mother who can wear Cartier and comfort a teary toddler in the same breath. Her visible absence, then, sets nerves jangling among courtiers who recall how public faith wobbled when Charles and Diana's marriage imploded in the 90s. They can't afford another succession wobble, a historian warns. Catherine's wellness is, unfairly or not, a proxy for institutional confidence. Conclusion: hope amid the tremors. For now, the palace line is resolute. The princess is not in crisis. The Armed Forces Day tribute proves she remains an integral face of the firm, and her 2025 diary will be adjusted, not abandoned. Yet behind the velvet curtains, staff rewrite rotas, Zara polishes her court shoes, and William retreats each evening to Adelaide Cottage, praying that the woman who steadies the monarchy can conquer the enemy within. Britain, hooked on every sigh and smile, can only watch, because in Windsor these days, every cancelled carriage, every borrowed tiara, every Instagram post is a clue to the most closely watched comeback in modern royal history.